Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 19 days away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and even creator George Lucas. That is all set and ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are either very excited about, worried about, or very apathetic towards this movie is, of course, exactly how they're going to utilize the entire film and treat it as the true culmination of the Skywalker saga. And looking back at everything of what J.J. Abrams was able to put together, they actually needed a co-writer called Christensen in order to make this all happen, as well as having George Lucas on board during many of the rewrites that took place in late 2018, where eventually more rewrites and more reshoots took place later on in 2019. Now, one thing that a lot of fans are very much, very worried about when it comes to The Rise of Skywalker is exactly how it's all going to end. Exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to handle the epic conclusion to the Skywalker saga that started back in 1977 by George Lucas with Star Wars A New Hope. Now, specifically, what's really unfortunate has all to do with the character of Anakin Skywalker, where it's explained that during the major changes and adjustments to the film by Disney and Lucasfilm is when they completely restructured the second and third acts of the film in order to develop a different tone for the movie. It's explained that this was also due to many of the reshoots and rewrites that took place in August, September, and October, where many shifts were made to the vital segments of the film and that many scenes were deleted in the process. It's explained that one of the segments that Disney deleted in the process involved a segment done by actor Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, where the sequence was said to involve Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost making an actual appearance at the very end of the film, within Palpatine's throne room, helping Rey through the ways of the Force and giving her the energy from the netherworld of the Force. It's said that originally Anakin was going to be seen placing his hand on Rey's shoulder and providing her a couple of inspiring words of the Jedi and the Force, where Anakin's appearance was said to have an older design, yet portrayed by Hayden still. However, it's said that the entire sequence was cut from the film, where Disney and Lucasfilm decided to minimize the scene down to just having Anakin's Force Ghost voice guide Rey at the end of the movie, where he is not seen for the fans, and that the Force Ghosts of Luke, Kenobi, Yoda, Leia, and others follow after Anakin connects with Rey and wakes her up to fight Sidious by also providing her power. Now, it's explained that Disney and Lucasfilm wanted to delete the appearance of Anakin Skywalker is because that the concept of is less is more applies to this particular scene for them, and is said to mystify the audience of Anakin's presence in the third act of the movie. The initial scene was said to have been 90% complete before it was cut, and that only ADR work was needed before Disney decided to cut the segment out of the movie. It's explained that this segment of the film also involved Anakin appearing alongside Luke, Kenobi, Yoda, and Leia, where they all are also said to have appeared eventually before Rey, where the Emperor would see them in back of Rey getting the help that she needs. All of the Force Ghosts in the final cut of the movie now are said to only be disembodied voices in the third act of the film, to mystify the audience and to keep them wondering of what the Force Ghosts look like around Rey when they are not seen. Disney and Lucasfilm made this massive change back in August when they were going through the final stages of the reshoots and the rewrites of the movie, and that this also played a role in October to early November when some scenes were being reset for the film. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and as to why I do disagree with a lot of these decisions by Disney and Lucasfilm, and how this really is a failure on Disney and Lucasfilm's part of treating the character of Anakin Skywalker. In my point of view, not only did they completely undo the sacrifice of Anakin Skywalker of destroying the Sith once and for all in Return of the Jedi, now that Palpatine is alive and well, but now they're also minimizing Anakin Skywalker's vital moment at the very end of the movie, where originally he was supposed to appear as an actual Force Ghost body in back of Rey helping her, with other Force Ghosts actually appearing such as Luke, Leia, Kenobi, and Yoda, all gathering around Rey, where now it's all minimized to that actually just being Force Ghost voices guiding Rey in her head, essentially. Now, the thing and the reason as to why I feel like that this is a failure by Disney and Lucasfilm and basically failing the character of Anakin is because they know that so many fans out there want to see Anakin Skywalker once more on the big screen. You have a movie called The Rise of Skywalker. Skywalker is in the title. And by the way, that title is not what it seems. We actually went over this in the past couple of leaks that we have been talking about, is that The Rise of Skywalker essentially means that Rey adopts the Skywalker name and becomes a Skywalker, hence the Rise of Skywalker. And literally, she is a Palpatine by blood who becomes the chosen one and decides to take the Skywalker name. That is a choice that I think not a lot of fans are really going to support, to be quite honest, and if it's not a lot of fans, it's definitely going to be a divide between fans, at most. So when we think about Episode 9 here, the fact that they are doing this treatment for Anakin Skywalker, I think is unfair for the audience. I think it's unfair for actor Hayden Christensen, given that the scene was 90% complete of them actually appearing in back of Rey, where Palpatine would witness the Force Ghosts. You know, they also changed this because they wanted to create the concept of less is more, where it would mystify the audience. Now, that's another thing that I really just don't agree with. If you're going to mystify the audience, I feel that this is the last movie, right? This is where you don't want to mystify the audience too much. You know, some, aspects of the movie that would mystify people is okay. You know, like in the last, movie, The Last Jedi, at the very end, you're wondering exactly where Rey and Kylo Ren are gonna go. That I can understand. But something so big like this of Anakin Skywalker, of all people, in the form of a Force Ghost, having him appear originally and then minimizing that down to just being a Force Ghost voice, I think is very unfair to the fans, if I really had to be honest with each and every one of you. So this movie, like I say, it's very important to Disney and Lucasfilm to get it right, because it does determine the future of the franchise and where things are really going, and exactly how it's really all going to unfold does really depend on how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to really kind of just make everything fall into place here. It's all based on execution, it's all based on how they really edit the movie and how it all unfolds from start to finish. So this particular moment, Anakin is still in the film, but in the very ending of the third act of Episode 9, it's actually said that he is just a disembodied voice, reaching out to Rey first, waking her up when she is unconscious from getting drained of her energy from Palpatine, where the other Force Ghost voices of the past, such as Kenobi, Luke, Yoda, and others, actually tune in to wake up Rey as well and help her through the ways of the netherworld and give her energy from there. Now, that, of course, I think a lot of fans are also going to either agree or disagree with. There is going to be a great divide on that scene, without a doubt. The one big thing that I think a lot of fans are going to disagree on is how Rey is the one who destroys Palpatine and not Kylo Ren, who would be the last remaining Skywalker by blood, actually being alive. Now, in the story, there's a segment in Episode 9 where Ben Solo falls to his death in a bottomless pit, never to be seen again, and that his fate will be left ambiguous. Could be that they're leaving him alive, but they're actually going to also kill him off and not let us know exactly whether or not he transferred over to the netherworld of the Force. There's actually said to be no Force Ghost of Ben Solo in this segment, in which the Force Ghosts of the past are helping Rey. Honestly, I think it would have been more poetic and more, I guess you could say, powerful and emotional if the first voice to reach out to Rey was Ben Solo, followed by Anakin, and then the other Force Ghosts. That, at the very minimum, I think would have been more emotional than how it is now, just with the disembodied voices of Anakin and others. So, Ben Solo not making it over to the netherworld of the Force, or at least that being left very ambiguous, I think is also another bad decision on Disney and Lucasfilm's part. That's just my take on things, my 2 cents, and that's just me being honest, which I think is important. That's just my honesty right there. So, with Episode 9 now on the horizon, 19 days away, can you believe it? I mean, time really did fly by. J.J. Abrams, we do know that the premiere is coming up on, I believe, December 11th, 10 days from now, over in Japan. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. So 10 days to go until the premiere. We're going to be able to hear different reactions of that movie. No reviews just yet because they have an embargo, but we're going to hear all of these different reactions of what they thought about the overall film, generally speaking, and that'll give us an idea of exactly where things are going. So with that being said, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.